So we got the 1092 spoilers, and this is a super exciting chapter. Like, things are finally starting to pop off. I guess we've been in like a little bit of a lull for the last few chapters maybe, but not this one. It's pretty crazy. So coming off of the previous chapter, we saw Kizaru entering Egghead Island. And after like a brief clash with Sentomaru, he was able to defeat him. I don't think he killed him. I think he kind of just knocked him out. But after that, he gained control of the authority chip and commanded the pacifistas to attack the sea beasts. And while that was happening, back where Vegapunk was, with his group inside of the lab, Lucci just immediately tried to assassinate him because, you know, that's why he was originally sent there. But Stussy jumped in front of Vegapunk, taking the finger pistol to the stomach for him. Then immediately, Sanji grabbed the bubble gun and put Kaku in a bubble. Zoro then clashed with Lucci and they got sent outside of the lab. And at the end of the chapter, we saw Kizaru encountering Luffy and clashing with him. Luffy was trying to get the Sunny to the other side of the island, and Kizaru blocking Luffy's kick here, and us seeing the lightning coming off of the kick really hyped us up. So now we're finally going to get to see what happens coming into this chapter with these spoilers. But for that, we're actually cutting away from this and we're going somewhere else, surprisingly, because Kuma goes on a rampage in Marijoa and Aki Inu appears to stop him. So that's wild. So we haven't been with Kuma in a while. And this goes back a couple chapters. So we saw that Kuma was being used as like a slave on Marijoa after he had fulfilled his purpose to Vegapunk and everything. He was kind of just a mindless robot. And the Revolutionary Army eventually banded together, invaded Marijoa, and successfully rescued him. And once they brought him back, he was kind of compliant for a little bit, at least from a robotic standpoint, until suddenly he kind of just randomly activated like Manchurian Candidate style and sent himself back to Marijoa where he just got rescued from. But this time he like started at the base of the red line and started climbing up it. And of course he was being like shot and whatnot as he was doing that, but I guess he eventually gets to Marijoa, goes on a rampage, and Aki Inu is there to stop him, and that's understandable because Marine headquarters is very close to Marijoa. I'm pretty sure Aki Inu can get to Marijoa quickly, maybe via his Logia abilities or I don't know, some kind of ship or something. Ships just move faster in the One Piece world than they do in our own. But obviously on paper, Aki Inu is a heavy favorite over Kuma, like one-shot level, for sure. But I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, at least not to the extent of killing him. I'm like, yeah, he'll one-shot, I'm sure, but I don't think Kuma's going to die. Like, we kind of have to have that sequence where that big memory bubble that Vegapunk had, that Bonnie was also able to come in contact with. We have to have that sequence where that like gets absorbed back into Kuma and then Kuma regains his personality or whatever, right? Like we have to have a happy ending for him. It would be so sad and tragic if Kuma just gets killed by Aki Inu. And for sure, Kuma was supposed to go to Marijoa for some reason, like it was programmed into him. And it's also supposed to parallel the big robot that did it like 200 years ago. Also, coincidentally, coming back to that robot, or maybe not so coincidentally, since Kuma is doing the stuff in Marijoa here, and like I said, it's supposed to parallel to that robot. But yeah, Aki Inu is going to clean up easily here. It's just good to see him back in action. Post time skip, we've only really seen him talk to the Gorosei and to the other admirals, I guess. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Ecotric. Ecotric has determined its mission: produce environmentally friendly, utility, and high-quality e-bikes for customers. Ecotric advocates green traveling, energy saving, and healthy lifestyles, the pursuit of harmony between man and nature, and aspiring to promote a new mode of transportation. So I recently just got my Ecotric bike. This is the Rocket model, and I'll get more into that, but I received it in a box, and it was pretty simple to put together. But if you think it might be difficult for you, don't worry. You can find an assembly instruction video on all of the Ecotric bikes on their YouTube channel. But anyway, like I said, this is the Rocket model. It has a Mozo front suspension and 26-inch fat tires that allow you to go wherever you want regardless of road conditions and significantly improve the comfort of riding. I've always been a little worried about riding on trails or on rough terrain or in the woods or in other areas like that because it's really easy to like pop a tire. It's actually easy easier than you would think. But riding around on this rocket feels so smooth, and I also feel like I don't have to really worry about anything. I've also never had fat tires like this before, and they are just great. I don't think I can go back to normal tires after this. And also, since this is an electric bike, it assists you in your pedaling, which means going up those difficult inclines isn't really difficult anymore. You can alter the speed, of course. The further you go up, it'll assist you more in going through the incline. It also has a 7-speed shifter that you can pair with the pedal assist. So you can either just make it an easy commute, or you can make it a workout. Or if you don't feel like either, you don't even have to pedal. You could just pull on the throttle and it'll ride for you. Like, look at this. This is so much fun. It also has great brakes, which an electric bike definitely needs. Obviously, since the rocket has no problem on rough terrain, it's super smooth in the city, riding on sidewalks or in the streets. Now, aside from its performance, I really love the Ecotric rocket because I personally don't own a car. You know, being a YouTuber, I can just work from home, and I live in a city that's very walk accessible. And in my personal experience, just having a car was somewhat of a burden, if you know what I mean. So having this new Ecotric rocket is really a game changer for me. Now, aside from the rocket, they also have other off-road e-bikes as well, such as the Tornado and the Hammer, and it looks like they're all on sale as well. They also have city e-bikes, such as the White Lark and the Black Pista. They have cargo e-bikes, folding e-bikes, and step-through e-bikes as well. So guys, if you're interested in getting your very own Ecotric rocket or other Ecotric bikes, which they have plenty of on their site, you can check out the link in the description. And if you use that link in the description, you will get an automatic discount of $400.99 at checkout. That's a pretty crazy deal, guys. But anyway, on to Luffy versus Kizaru, because the scene moves to Kizaru versus Snake Man Luffy. Kizaru kicks Luffy with a powerful attack. So Luffy is like going full-blown Goku mode here. Like Goku in Dragon Ball Super at least will like fight his opponents like one transformation at a time, like one level at a time, still showing you that he has these forms, you know, not to completely alienate merchandise and other stuff that they could be selling that has that likeness. And also, you know, it's just a fun little trope to be like, I have this form, and here's my other form, and my third form. Granted, he did just go straight to Gear 5 against Lucci, which I appreciate, and I was surprised he did it that quickly. But against Kizaru, I guess we have to establish exactly how strong Kizaru is, because, yeah, he easily took out Sentomaru, as we knew that he would, and Luffy could, just as likely. I mean, Lucci did, with that stab through the chest. So now we have to put Kizaru against Snake Man. It's like, how powerful is he compared to that? And it's like, yeah, for sure, Kizaru is going to be stronger than Snake Man. And he's taking him out with a kick here. Now, I don't know if he's like taking him out, like knock him out, but it says that it's a powerful kick here. So maybe it's just a classic, you know, knocking him into a wall or something. But I guess it was strong enough to prompt a pretty powerful response from Luffy here, because at the end of the chapter, Luffy transforms into Gear 5. So yeah, going into Gear 5 here, and either these spoilers are being purposely restrictive and not telling us enough, or he just becomes Gear 5 at the end and then they don't fight or anything. Like, there's not like a clash at the end. Meaning that the next chapter, we're going to have to see Gear 5 versus Kizaru, which is fine. You know, we don't need to rush this. And it is Oda. He's not going to rush it regardless. But man, Gear 5 versus Kizaru in the next chapter, that is really exciting. Unless Oda hits us with a swerve and we go to Zoro versus Lucci, which totally can happen, but still, we need that Gear 5 versus Kizaru. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get that sequence where Luffy grabs his light. Like, he has to. He grabbed lightning against Kaido. He's going to grab light against Kizaru. Come on. And it's also going to, like, hard power scale Kizaru as well, which is something we've been eager for since Marineford. It's like, oh, okay, he is this strong, because now we'll have a litmus test. You know, Gear 5 going against Kaido, and then Gear 5 going against Kizaru, and it's like, okay, how strong in relation to that is Kizaru to Kaido? But anyway, after the sounds of liberation drums appear, the giant old robot's eyes light up and seem to activate. So yeah, like I was saying, parallels between Kuma and the robot here the robot is activating once again. And the last time it activated was like 200 years ago, and they don't know why it activated. But now that it's activating because of the sounds of the drums of liberation, and there's also a clarification from Reed on here. It says the sound of Gear 5 Luffy's heartbeat awakens the giant ancient robot. His eyes light up. So I guess this means that the robot is affiliated with Joy Boy, right? Because heavily implied that Joy Boy had the Sun God Nika fruit. So I guess this could possibly mean that the construction of the robot had something to do with the Sun God Nika devil fruit, maybe. Unless it's just like Joy Boy's soul within the fruit or whatever, you know what I mean, is like triggering whatever kind of mechanism that there is inside of the robot. We're talking about a mixture of technology and the supernatural here, and it seems like that's what went into creating these robots and just the ancient kingdom's technology, I suppose. Because, you know, it's also implied that Joy Boy was the leader or the king or just a prominent figure in the ancient kingdom, maybe. I also think that Joy Boy probably was responsible for the construction of a few things, you know, since his fruit is so incredible and he can make like other things rubber, and that will probably come into play later on in this arc. Like, I thought that Luffy was going to make Onigashima into rubber, but obviously he didn't do that, so maybe he'll make Punk Records into rubber. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you like the video, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.